In the Impact segment tonight, Democrats calling for the resignation of Jeff Sessions. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is leading the attack against the Attorney General, saying this yesterday.
Because the Department of Justice should be above reproach for the good of the country, Attorney General Sessions should resign.
But Schumer had a very different reaction after then Attorney General Loretta Lynch had her highly criticized tarmac meeting with President Bill Clinton during the Hillary Clinton email investigation last year.
She has said nothing was discussed related to the investigation. So you have two choices, to say this didn't matter or she's lying. I think it didn't matter. I don't think she's lying.
Joining us now with reaction, Democratic New York Congressman Tom Suozzi. You are my congressman, so I have to put you on the spot here. Your fellow New Yorker.
Did you vote for me or not?
I did not.
As long as that's clear from the get-go.
I did not. I'm not afraid to say it. But your colleague, former New York guy, he says one thing about Loretta Lynch, takes her at her word, but then does not take his also former colleague in the Senate, Jeff Sessions, at his word. A little hypocritical, wouldn't you say, Congressman?
No, I wouldn't say that.
How could you not say that? Come on.
I think they can be distinguished, but you know what? That's not my focus here. I'm here to talk about the problem solvers.
Well, it's my focus. So you're going to dodge? That. You're going to dodge?
But it's not a dodge. I don't think it's hypocritical. I think there's a distinction between the two.
Yeah?
There wasn't a case of a question of whether or not Jeff Sessions purges himself or Loretta Lynch perjures herself.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so it's a very different situation, and it didn't involve national security and the Russians and things like that.
Well, Hillary's server involved national security.
Anyway, let's talk about how to make America a better place.
Okay, that's fine. I'll let you slide because you are my congressman. I'm terrified of you. You're in the problem-solving caucus in Congress.
Problem solvers caucus.
Right, which is an oxymoron, in my opinion. Where do you see common ground with President Trump? On what items?
Well, let me first tell you that there are 20 Democrats and 20 Republicans of the U.S. Congress that are on the problem solvers caucus. And our goal is to try and find common ground to try and actually get things done. Because everybody's sick of Congress and they don't get things done.
I agree with that.
And so they want us to try and accomplish things.
Can you get along about Obamacare? Can you help out with that? Because you know that's unraveling right now.
We need to see what the proposal is from the Republicans. They haven't shown it to us yet. They haven't shown anybody it yet.
Right, no one's seen it. They won't even show fellow Republicans.
Secret. It's a secret.
It's a top secret.
But right now, we've sent a letter to the president saying we want to talk about tax reform and about infrastructure. And we think that those are two big areas where there could be places that we could talk about common ground.
So tax reform, we're going to get the top rate down. We're going to get the business rate down. We're also going to get middle-class taxes cut. You have to agree that taxes are too high. I mean, we're both living in the same area. You know, we're paying half of our paycheck
Well,
to
your
the
big
feds.
problem is property taxes on Long Island. That's the big, huge problem.
But besides that, you know, we have state taxes and we have federal taxes. But the federal taxes, you know, 39%, 36%, those got to come down, right?
The bottom line is that I really agree that it's clear as day that we need to lower the corporate tax.
Okay.
We need to try and bring that money that's offshore back into the United States of America, and I'd like to see that invested in infrastructure, a massive infrastructure program.
What about income taxes?
As far as income taxes, I said throughout my campaign, I'm opposed to any increase in the income tax because
that's not happening.
Because our district, especially, but all of New York State, is a huge net donor to the federal government. We send a lot more to the federal government than we get back. And I encourage my Democratic colleagues from Democratic states like New York and New Jersey and Connecticut and California. We're all huge net donors.
Right. Especially Bill O'Reilly, also a New Yorker.
Also went to Chaminade High School.
I know, giving a lot of the money.
I want you to know he voted for me when I was
to the Treasury.
Executive.
Well, that makes one of us then.
Well, you were in Suffolk County. You couldn't vote for me in
That's
Suffolk County.
Infrastructure. Okay, this is going to be about $1 trillion bill. We need new roads, we need new bridges. The LIE, Long Island Expressway, disaster. It takes me about an hour and a half to get into the city for about 30 miles.
Well,
Can we get something done there?
You should be taking mass transit.
I do. I take the train, but sometimes I have to drive.
Now, the bottom line is that, you know, there's everybody agrees. There's a massive deficit in infrastructure investment in the United States of America. And it's not just roads. It's also mass transit. It's also sewers, it's also water, it's also airports, and it'll create a lot of middle-class jobs that we need. and it'll create a lot of economic activity.
Well, as long as you can get your friend Nancy Pelosi on board with some of these moderate proposals, I think we might have a deal here. What do you say? Can you bring Nancy along?
I think that Nancy Pelosi and other Democrats are very interested in creating jobs in the United States of America.
Okay, then why did she sit and not clap when Trump announced all those new jobs at the State of the Union?
I think that, you know, it was really
She was tired. She was tired.
It was really interesting to watch the clapping and not clapping throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, mostly the not clapping. Congressman, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Coming up next on the special